Hello, happy to be here. So as you may know, we live in our bodies that are a marvel of evolution. And those bodies, if properly trained, are capable of amazing feats of dexterity, agility, and flexibility. Our bodies are the temples with which we spend our entire existence experiencing life. Now, our brains are also a marvel of evolution, and those brains, if properly educated, are capable of phenomenal development, which is the fodder that keeps propelling human civilization and achievement forward. With those brains and for those brains, we've developed amazing computer and communication technologies that have allowed us to amass vast bastions of knowledge and document our experience and share that with each other around the world. We've even invented artificial intelligence technology to help us amass more of that knowledge. Now, we've used that technology to help propel our intelligence further down the road, but until recently, we haven't really been using our computers to help develop our bodies or enhance them in any way. In fact, how we've been using our computers has actually had a destabilizing effect on the development of the body by having us spend greater and greater amounts of our time literally sitting in front of monitors and using only our hands to interact. This has contributed to obviously a more sedentary lifestyle, and in some parts of society, an epidemic of unfit, maybe obese or overweight populations. Well, this is what Francis McDougall and I saw back in the early 1980s at the University of Waterloo that sent us on our crazed journey to invent a natural user interface, a full body interface for our computer devices. We wanted to basically look at the same way children are completely unencumbered, completely embodied. When they express themselves full of life and energy, they use their full bodies to express themselves. Well, this unfortunately does not last very long as we engage in social institutions like school and workplace. Slowly that gets replaced by a type of unconscious body armor that weighs us down before our time. What Francis and I wanted to do was to create a technology that would reverse that process and let us enhance that sense of embodiment, to use our full bodies to interact with our computers for all sorts of different aspects of our lives. What we would invent would be something that would change the nature of how we actually physically engage and are engaged physically by our computers. Now, we decided to use a video camera as the interface, and we created an artificial intelligence that could track the body and apply that to control the on-screen content. But we called that technology full body immersive video gesture control. And we wanted to start by creating a new artistic medium in the computer as the first application that we would create. That's something you could step into. I was an artist, a dancer, a juggler, and I was looking to create a unique performance instrument that I could merge all of these different art forms together in one in the computer and be able to step into it. I wanted not just to look at the art, but to step in and play with the art, not just to dance to the music, but to actually make music from my dance and movement. We basically wanted to allow the user to step into the virtual world unencumbered by having to wear, hold, or touch anything, which was great, but not an easy thing to do to actually find a computer that we could do this on in the early 1980s. Luckily, in around 1985, the Commodore Amiga came to the market, and we saw that we could create a basic version of the technology on that, where we would use the user's live video image, turn it into a single color silhouette, place it in a low-resolution landscape that was only 32 colors. Now, the good thing was that when they interacted with the animation, it responded in real time. It was instant. And that was the most important thing. Soon, we were creating installations for media festivals and galleries and for museums and science centers and world expos, and we were even heralded in the Smithsonian Institute with an installation in the Information Age Gallery on the future of computer interfaces. Well, I would begin to use this early system to start practicing virtual performance experiences. By 1991, we had developed a fully dynamic virtual world system and a myriad of applications, and we could track the user's whole body and the various body parts and the speed, the angle, the trajectory with which they were moving, and map that onto the virtual world and how it would react based on physics, so that the user could actually touch or hold or push or pull or pick up or bounce or even throw virtual objects, all while navigating the virtual world through gestures at the same time. And I would become the first virtual reality performer for 12 years. Starting in 1986, I would take audiences around the world on journeys through interactive dreamscapes while dancing and playing with the animation and jamming music on unique virtual instruments. So the dynamic nature of the system to be able to track and challenge the user's speed, flexibility, and agility would lead to a proliferation of fully immersive video games that really had the user engaged and absorbed. And the hidden thing that was going on here was that they were moving incredibly and very active and moving in ways they may not have moved before, but they weren't really realizing it because they were having fun. And eventually physiotherapists saw this and realized the potential of this technology for exercise and rehabilitation, for motivating people for everything from injuries to stroke recovery to physical disabilities and beyond. So in 1999, we started inventing the IREX. And the IREX is the interactive rehabilitation exercise system, which allowed the therapist to create a regimen of exercises from the available applications and be able to control all the parameters of everything from the speed at which the animation might move, the range of motion people would move in, how long the application would last, what part of the body they would target. After 30 studies, clinical studies, basically they all agreed that this technology motivated people to do their exercises 2 to 3 times longer, which meant quicker improvements and or recovery. Today there's over 1,000 of these IREX systems being used in institutions around the world. One of the other things that we saw as super important for the future was to take the power of video gesture control and integrate it with bringing people from different locations into the same virtual worlds so that they could not just talk and see each other, but actually interact together with the same virtual objects that surrounded them all. We started doing this in the early 90s, and we did it with satellite link-ups, but unfortunately there was a slight delay in that technology. But by 1998, we were using T1 lines to bring people from different locations into the same three-dimensional virtual video conferencing experience over the World Wide Web itself. One of the more powerful applications that we created working with the National Film Board was to work with Indigenous elder Chief Leonard George to create virtual worlds that people could come from different locations and experience and interact and learn together about various aspects of the West Coast Salish Indigenous culture. The applications and implications of this technology are incredible, especially as the World Wide Web builds itself out into the metaverse, a three-dimensional virtual universe which is designed for us to be going to do various aspects of our daily lives. By 2000, we had actually gotten quite successful in terms of installations, etc. And so we thought that we would take our first investment because we saw the potential to get this technology into the consumer's hands. So we had David Bowie, his personal business partner, Robert Goodale, and his music business manager, RZO, came on board and helped us push this technology ahead, which ended up creating a whole slew of new technologies, products, applications, and we ended up with over 65 different patents. We started to license those patents and technologies in different interesting ways. In one way, we worked with Weather Services International to allow interactive news and weather reports in over 250 TV stations throughout the US. We licensed our patents and technology to Sony for the PlayStation, for the iToy, and eventually the Move interactive immersive game cameras. And we licensed our technology and patents to Microsoft for the Xbox for Kinect-like camera control. We also worked with Hasbro, who came to us, and we helped them create an immersive educational gaming toy called the Ion, in which children could actually step up in front of their TV, step right into their favorite cartoons like SpongeBob SquarePants or Blue's Clues, Dora the Explorer, Crazy Town, and Sesame Street. And there they were actually learning aspects of spelling, their math, their reading, their pattern detection, and all of this while just having fun, jumping around in front of their TVs in their favorite cartoons. By 2003, we started porting this technology to mobile phones. And today, there are over 150 million mobile phones that are using this technology in one form or another to help the user control their experiences. But there is also applications in the original public signage and digital display market as well. In 1998, we actually invented interactive surfaces where we could project on floors or walls or windows or tables and track the user's unencumbered gestures as they move past or on top of those to control the content. Today there's over 8,000 of those systems being used in various ways around the world. In 2002, we pioneered camera-based multi-touch that let you touch the display with multiple hands and multiple people at the same time. But by not too long after that, we invented a point-and-control technology that let you do that from a distance. However, the most important and powerful invention that we did was to use 3D depth cameras to get a 3D depth map of the user and track their full body gestures in the 3D space they occupied. This took the technology to a whole new level of video gesture control and analysis, and allowed it to be in places that it normally wouldn't have been able to be used. And we were able to use this for hundreds of our clients' public installations, but it took a long time for this technology to come down in price to where it was affordable as a consumer product. After already having licensed some of our patents and technology, Microsoft in 2010 would create their Kinect 3D depth camera for the Xbox, and it was one of the most successful new product category launches in history at the time. We're creating other applications with the 3D cameras such that we are able to do things in surgery rooms and in security, in clean rooms, and in other areas that would be public spaces or classrooms or for training, etc. We even worked with display manufacturers to take that technology into the home, onto the display, and let people not just control their TV channels, but to also control the temperature, the lights, the surfing the web, answering the phone, etc. These screens are becoming so inexpensive that soon we'll have whole walls of our homes or our offices or our public spaces that are life-size portals that we can step into using video gesture control to be able to interact with our bodies and the content and basically meet other people. As the metaverse continues to build itself out as something that becomes a more major part of our life and something that we would be spending more time in, the cameras that they're using are going to need to be higher in resolution. So they need to be able to not just measure the human body, but actually the minute movements that we make as well, so that we're able to use our natural dexterity to be able to control and manipulate 3D virtual objects in the same way that we can control objects in the real world. Expect to see these showing up in appliances or in toys, smartphones, laptops, and tablets, etc. We've even worked with car manufacturers to move this technology into cars to control dashboard functions, as well as to control our mobile phones while we're driving. The endless array of applications for this technology carry on and on. I mean, today there's experimentation with hand and full body gestures of controlling robots and controlling drones. Even recently, the controlling of motorcycles to come or go back. For over 35 years, I've been inventing, pioneering, and evangelizing the use of video gesture control. And we're really only at the infancy of how this technology is going to impact our lives and how we're going to be able to interact in the connected, immersive virtual worlds to come. As these 3D cameras achieve their higher resolution, so too the applications will evolve, and hopefully then we will continue to use this technology to be able to extend our reach even further into the virtual world, allowing us to maintain our sense of embodiment and using our full bodies to engage in all sorts of aspects of our everyday lives, and hopefully being able to maintain that sense of embodiment that is really our birthright. Thank you.